You're a candidate now officially for Speaker?
I am a candidate officially to run for Speaker of the House. Look, let's be very clear.
Madam Speaker, I would like to rise to nominate Byron Donalds for Speaker of the House.
Taking a leap of faith to decide and to go out there and putting my name on the line and frankly putting my family on the line. And let's just be honest, we are right and the Democrats are just crazy and wrong.
We're going to stop woke. Woke is bullshit.
Look, history judges us for what we do. This is a critical time right now. I think providing lethal aid to Ukraine right now is critically important.
I just feel like we got played.
In bipartisan fashion, with overwhelming majority of votes, we passed the American Relief Act of 2025.
It just doesn't make any sense with them trashing it and then all voting for it. That makes you feel like something went wrong.
You're saying Jeffries, Johnson,
Schumer, Johnson and Jeffries, the firm. It's an historic moment. It's fallen apart. And as a result, somebody's going to have to lose their job over this. I don't think the Speaker is going to remain in power. If I'm correct in that, and I think I am, we need bold new leadership.
Boys, FAFO. We cannot continue to fund a government that doesn't do its first job. The time has come for new leadership in Washington.
The bill is passed, and without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
This is a victory for the American people.
Communicating with Elon last night, he said, we understand you're in an impossible position. Everybody knows that. Remember, guys, we still have just a razor-thin margin of Republicans.
Come on in, member of the House Financial Services Committee, Byron Donalds.
The United States right now is determining whether it will be inducting the first Black American Speaker of the House. Byron Donalds is the top choice for the position after the present Speaker Mike Johnson's catastrophic failure to review the finance bill entirely before sending it up for a vote. Maybe a lot of people thought he was trying to get one over on him. Not sure, but it didn't go very well for him.
Why are you willing to risk losing your job over this Ukraine funding?
Listen, my philosophy is you do the right thing and you let the chips fall where they may. If I operated out of fear over a motion to vacate, I would never be able to do my job. Look, history judges us for what we do. This is a critical time right now, a critical time on the world stage. I could make a selfish decision and do something that's different, but I'm doing here what I believe to be the right thing. I think providing lethal aid to Ukraine right now is critically important. I really do. I really do believe the intel. And
hello, everyone. We have some eye-opening information as the pieces continue moving around before the 47th President of the United States, Donald Trump, takes office with his trusted allies. And I'd like to ask you all to please join this One Love family by liking and subscribing so that when we get this fresh information out, you can get this fresh information in. Blessings and prayers to each and every one of you. Thank you. Now let's dive into this topic. Recent events have just opened up some new allegations that Byron Donalds will be the next Speaker of the House. It's all part of the political surgery in opening up the body, or in this case, the House of Representatives. It's digging deep and getting out the quirks before you get into office.
Congressman, are you actually running for Speaker, or is this more about just continuing the conversation and finding a place where Kevin McCarthy can be the next Speaker?
Well, they nominated me, didn't they? Look, I think right now it's something where I told my colleagues, I didn't come to D.C. being interested in becoming Speaker of the House. But I also understand that, part of my responsibility is to make sure that our conference gets to a point where we are doing the things in an effective and constructive way, that we campaign on back home.
Recently, Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk were urging lawmakers not to pass a government funding extension that would prevent a major shutdown at the end of the week. This bill should not pass, Musk wrote on X Wednesday morning. He later asked his hundreds of millions of followers, ever seen a bigger piece of pork? That's a jab used to describe the legislation full of pet projects and other interests. And not only Elon Musk, the other part of Doge, Vivek Ramaswamy.
Congress is about to pass a bill that blows away your taxpayer money, but they made it over 1,500 pages long so you wouldn't read it. I did you a favor. I read it for you.
It's supposed to be about keeping government operations open and providing disaster relief aid to hurricane victims. It renews the Global Engagement Center, which is a key node of the censorship industrial complex. And the worst part is, they didn't want you to know about any of it, and that's why they made this a last-minute jam job. The reason I'm co-heading Doge is I think we need outsiders to bring actual accountability to Washington, D.C.
He wrote that the bill is full of excessive spending, special interest giveaways, and pork barrel politics. If Congress wants to get serious about government efficiency, they should vote no. So who put this bill out for a vote? Well, 4 people in a backroom deal decided on it.
You're saying Jeffries, Johnson,
Schumer, McConnell, Johnson,
McConnell.
and Jeffries, the firm. It's an historic moment. It's fallen apart. And as a result, somebody's going to have to lose their job over this. I don't think the Speaker is going to remain in power. That's my prediction. I'm not in the House. If I'm correct in that, and I think I am, we need bold new leadership.
So is America at a time where it just needs new leadership? I mean, especially when you have Jeffries, who was in the room with Johnson and Schumer and McConnell, when Jeffries just came out and said, hey, this is Biden's bill. He got everything he wanted.
Good evening, everyone. House Democrats have successfully funded the government at levels requested by President Biden.
And General Milley just came out and said, while Biden was walking at the beach, General Milley just came out and said, hey, Biden's mentally just fine. So why do we need new leadership if reliable sources are telling us that we don't?
How does he seem to you?
Look, I'm not going to comment. I didn't comment on the former president's mental health, physical health, and I'm not going to comment on the current president's mental health or physical health. I meet frequently with the president, and every single time I meet with him, he is just fine and alert, sound, and is very, very engaging in issues of very serious matters of war and peace and life and death. So if the American people are worried about an individual who is someone who's making decisions of war and peace and has access to, makes the decisions of nuclear weapons and that sort of thing, I think they can rest easy.
I'm not trying to poke at the elderly. Growing old, you go through some things when you get older. I agree, mentally and physically in your body, you go through things, and sometimes your body just can't handle it anymore. But McConnell was in the room too.
Partisan cooperation and a string of
Okay, Mitch. Anything else you want to say, or should we just go back to your office? Do you want to say anything else to the press? Go ahead, John.
Freezing up. It's really bad when you freeze up completely in public. And he just fell down, and now he had to go to the hospital. And we also know that Schumer was in the room as well. So at least that kind of makes things a little bit better, especially when you know that Schumer gets his barking orders from Pelosi, and a lot of times.
We'll have the very latest on Nancy Pelosi hospitalized after getting injured during an event in Luxembourg. We're going to stay on top of this.
So that leaves one person left in that room, in the 4-people firm. We had Jeffries speaking for Biden. We had Schumer there for Pelosi. We had McConnell, who, well, I don't know if he was speaking for himself or if he wasn't speaking at all. And we have Mike Johnson, who came out with the bill and said, yeah, it's fine. Most people would think, in this case, if hundreds of billions of dollars were being spent, you would have everyone in the office involved, up 24/7, no ifs, ands, or buts. Everybody would know where this money was going. But no, just 4 people with probably the input of Pelosi, some think. Those 4 people who tried to backdoor pork you were Schumer, McConnell, Jeffries, and Mike Johnson, the present Speaker of the House. In the politician's world, he went from a 5 to a 10. But in a different world, Trump's world, he's gone from a semi-trusted 5 down to a low 1. The Americans that voted for change did not see that when he brought this bill to the floor. And now it's going viral all over TikTok, all over X, all over Rumble and Instagram. Why isn't Byron Donalds in charge of this ship, steering it right now? And maybe right now too many people are talking about this for Mike Johnson to overcome.
Duarte, McCarthy, Donalds.
Here's what some Republican House of Representative members are saying about the new bill.
Hey everybody, Tim Burchett. I did my usual video as I left the House floor, but it was terrible and I wasn't prepared, didn't have a lot of the great details in it I wanted to give y'all. I voted against it. We said we were going to do separate bills. That's what everybody wanted. Dadgum, of course, we didn't do it. We loaded it all up together. There was $5.7 billion in there for submarines. There was $100 million for the Coast Guard. Not sure what that was in there. There was the Francis Scott Key Bridge. Remember the bridge in Maryland got hit by a barge, and the barge was insured, but still we're putting. It doesn't make sense. Why are we putting money in that? It doesn't make any sense to me. And of course, the $100 million in there for disaster relief. Where did they come up with the $100 million figure? Those people are doing without. Granted, that's a lot of money, but we don't trust this administration with a nickel, and we're going to give them $100 billion to play with for 30 days. And the president just now gave a billion to Ecuador. But nobody's really sure what that's about. And another billion, of course, went to Ukraine without our input. So anyway, it's just a CR. It's just a continuation of bad spending policies that Schumer and Pelosi. And the odd thing is, they got on the floor and said they were going to be against it. The Democrats were going to be against it. And a huge number voted for it. I'm not sure any of them even voted against it. And then, of course, all the Republicans jumped in. I just feel like we got played. It doesn't make any sense with them trashing it and then all voting for it. That makes you feel like something went wrong. Anyway, we'll keep fighting. The government stayed open.
Not the first 1,500-page bill that was given to the House and vote on within 8 hours to decide. The new one that was chiseled down to 117 pages, still being filled to irritate anyone with the slightest case of hippopotamonstrosesquipedaliophobia. That's just a big word describing someone with a phobia of big words. But it seems like that's how the bills were written, to confuse the average person, to throw them off or mislead them in the spirit of the letter. Maybe you watching out there understood it more than most people. I'm not one for identity politics. I want to have the best man or woman for the job, and that's it. Byron Donalds' resume and past statements are what many have been asking for in this new era of politics. When people hear the quality of content of who he is and what he knows, they get it. And when he talks, he's not just full of this flossy-nosy nihilipilification talk that you hear from most congressmen who just say stuff, and before you know, they've rumbled enough and you're just sitting there with meaningless words that just went through the channels but never really accomplished anything. No, he gets things done. Now, regarding the post on X that Elon and Vivek Ramaswamy put out the other day that really threw Congress into a frazzle-dazzle, what we noticed, what we saw, was the people of America actually got to see what they were doing. And it threw Congress off like, why are you telling them? Why do they know? Why do they get to know why do they get to know what's in there? This is preposterous that the people know what's going on. Well, isn't that the transparency that we're hoping for? Wouldn't it be great to have no more backdoor deals being made that make you pressure people and fear them into saying, okay, pass it, so the government doesn't shut down? Wouldn't it be great just to have it come forward a little bit earlier with transparency? That's all we're asking for. And that's what we see with Byron Donalds, to stay transparent, to leave an open book for the people of the United States, and to see the new agenda being able to move forward, which could be a problem if they do eliminate Mike Johnson. Mike Johnson has a lot of buddies and a lot of friends in Congress. He might have more than Byron Donalds because Byron Donalds is so outspoken. So would it be personal? Would it make it personal where Mike Johnson would say, well, they're not getting my vote and I want to ask all my friends not to give them your vote either. We need to stand firm. Or do you think Byron Donalds has what it takes to grab the bull by the horns and say, okay, guys, here's what we have to do. Let's do it together and get unity within the Congress, within the Republican Party, and hopefully some within the Democrat Party as well. Now, that could be another case where Donald Trump decides, hey, we're just going to throw you the new Senate seat that Rubio's given up and make you happy there. But would he be able to get as much done there? Does he have as much power and persuasion? Does that job fit him the best in the Senate? Or would he be the best Speaker of the House? That's going to be determined sooner than we think, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know what you think. Please like and subscribe, and I want to thank you all for watching. We love you. Our prayers are out for you. One love. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye.